My favorite thing about the collaborative learning environment here really is how accessible all of our attendings are. They take into account everybody's ideas and try and incorporate it into a plan. As a senior resident, when I've been looking over a team, the attending really makes sure that they're on the same page as me before we actually proceed with a plan. The mutual respect that I saw here when I interviewed was what really drew me to VCU.
There are actually a number of research opportunities that residents can get involved with. I've been fortunate enough to actually work with a number of faculty who've been involved with research and be quite productive even as an intern. VCU will give you all the resources that you need in order for you to publish or at least have an abstract. We have amazing faculty here, and they've all been very approachable, very friendly, and very excited to actually have residents involved. Everybody's been great. Everybody's been extremely receptive to working with residents and teaching and giving us the opportunity to grow as residents and be the best internists that we can be. And if we're going for fellowship, they have guided us in ways that I didn't think I would see as a resident. It's an extremely supportive environment.
Transparency as far as VCU is kind of built in the culture here, so it's not something that just is outwardly shoved upon us. It's just sort of something that's present here, which I kind of like and didn't really know to look for. I feel like my status and progress as a doctor in the residency is pretty transparent as well. So as far as kind of how I'm doing, I'm constantly evaluated, and I see all of those evaluations, and someone goes over them with me, and I'm constantly being pushed, and kind of the expectations of me as a doctor and me as an intern and then a second year and then as a third year resident are open and clear, and I know my milestones and where I'm progressing. And so that's also a part of the transparency of I know what's expected of me, and I know where I am and how I'm doing.
Out of all the programs, I felt like this program really focused on educating the residents. That's what made me want to come here above all. I think it's a great city, a great location, has a lot of other perks, but the education aspect is what really brought me here. I think we all know intern year is going to be tough. And if you're looking for a place that is still going to challenge you, but at the same time support you, this is a great place for you.
There's so many things to do outdoorsy right here, but then at the same time, Richmond also, you're an hour and a half from the mountains for some pretty intense hiking. You're an hour and a half from the beach to be able to go do that. You're an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on traffic, from like DC to do that, if that's your kind of thing. So Richmond is just a location. It's kind of central to so many of these different things that you can do, and then there's so much food. There's so many breweries, that kind of thing, the outdoorsy things that are just there in the city too. And just it's a good fit in the city. In 20 minutes you can get anywhere. You're not gonna have to deal with traffic that's gonna take 45 minutes in the morning when you're getting to work, and when you're working as many hours as we are, that becomes important when you don't have to deal with an hour or two in transit time. So yeah, I think Richmond's a city that people get surprised by when they're here, and it definitely has been a fantastic fit for me.
Richmond is a great city, and this comes from a person who grew up right outside of New York City and did undergrad in Boston. So two respectable cities. I absolutely loved moving down to Richmond.
I come from the opposite upbringing of her. I'm from a small town, so Richmond is kind of different for me, but still in that aspect, it has so much variety. We've lived in just about every different situation you could think of. We've been in apartments, we've lived in historic Churchill, and now we live in a house in the suburbs kind of right outside the city. So we've had a little bit of each.
Going through our lists and making our rank list together of our residency programs, and we just could not imagine leaving here. Every single place that we interviewed at, we were comparing it to home, to VCU, and say, yeah, well, some of these people are great at these other places, but gosh, it's just not like those residents that we've worked with all these years, and we couldn't imagine working anywhere else. These people are like a family here. I really think if I had one piece of advice, would just really be to go with your gut. If you get the feeling like I got when I interviewed here, both for med school and residency, that it just feels right, listen to that.